Make sure that's up and running. I'm just going to start recording. Just make sure this is capturing my audio.
Last week we watched a YouTube live of. Do you know who Luke Combs is?
Luke Combs.
He's like a country singer, Luke Combs.
No.
Nicole's really into him, and he's doing a YouTube live, and his audio in the beginning of the video was like piercing to your ears
Oh,
because
really?
he had like he had I guess he had two mics going on, one at the camera and one obviously in his like performance mic, and I guess the feedback was just hitting each other, and he forgot to turn or the other off, and it was just he played a whole song through it, and like ears were like bleeding, and then they finally stopped him, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, you got your audio's off." So they just stop it, and then they. Should I record this for
I'm
the
gonna start.
podcast?
I'm gonna start. I'm not gonna include in the podcast. We're just talking shit. Uh,
Boom.
Boom.
Dude, my
So,
Texans helmet still hasn't came in the mail.
well, goddamn, ladies and gentlemen, he's so upset because he can't hear. Who cares about your Texans helmet? Now, what's the delay?
I don't know. Like USPS just keeps saying it's in transit, in transit. It's been almost a week and a half now. It's only coming from Massachusetts.
Wow. You better find out. Did you buy it on eBay?
I bought it on eBay. Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
I trust eBay.
I don't know
I
why
bought a
you
lot
trust
of
eBay.
good stuff on eBay.
I don't know why you gotta trust eBay.
You don't like eBay?
I barely buy stuff on eBay.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You just buy everything new?
Yep. Buy everything new.
Will's got money, everybody.
I do not have money, by the way. I do not. We're going to be talking about our podcast at about 8:30. So if you guys are just tuning in, we started the podcast a little early because last week we forgot to start it. Or, I'm sorry, I forgot to start it. So,
Yeah, don't put this blame on me.
yeah, it's your fault. It's your fault. You messed everything up.
I really need to get a new computer. I've been saying this for weeks.
Well, what is it now that's upsetting you so much? What is it now, Tim?
My Google Chrome is so slow, I can't switch between
Well,
the
you're not supposed to be
tabs
using Chrome to begin
easily.
with, so let's just start with that right out of the gate.
Well, because we use G Suite to manage all these documents and stuff, it's easier just going to Chrome and I'm already there. We're using Safari, then I got to type in Google, and it's a whole mess.
If you look to the right, I'm looking to my right, and I can see you. Hi, Tim.
Can you see me now?
Yes, I can. Hi, Tim.
It's like what is the Brady Bunch?
Yeah, it's like, ah. That'd be great if we were looking the wrong way. Like, hey, Tim.
We probably are.
No, we did the first week because I was looking at you like this way. Like I'm just looking at you on Skype like here, and that's like good enough to like, because your Skype's on my right, so it's perfect because I can look at you, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
makes it look like I'm looking at you.
Look into my eyes, Will.
Oh,
So
that's right. Hold on.
cheeky.
I too can't see a thing.
At the shave.
I need a haircut.
You
As you
just
can
got a
see,
haircut.
look at that. I'm bald. My hair is so thin that it's killing me.
Use Rogaine.
No, I face it. I'm going bald. I just face it. I'm going
Just
bald.
facing it.
Just face it. I'm going bald. That's all right.
I've been wearing a lot of hats because my hair is just crazy and I can't see my barber.
But just shave your own head. That's what everybody else is doing.
No.
No, no.
Fun fact, I actually had the same barber as a lot of the Genius staff from our original Apple store.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's awesome.
I would assume so. There's not many people going to him.
Yeah, I was referred to him by one of our former employees, and then I've been going to him ever since, going on 2 years now.
How far do you go for that?
15 minutes. He's right in Trenton.
Oh, okay. All right.
I ordered one of those Quip toothbrushes. It just came in the mail today. It's one of like those electric toothbrushes. I don't know if you heard of them. Quip.
I have something that's already electric toothbrush, but I'm not sure what that is.
QUIP.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's cool. It sticks to your mirror, and then you can take it out, and it like times it how long you should be brushing your teeth for.
Oh, my wife got me something that sticks to the wall, or my sister got me something sticks to the wall, and then when you shave, you put it around your neck, so when you're shaving, the hair just goes into this pouch. It's almost like it's like a long, what the hell is it called? It was on Shark Tank.
Oh, wow.
So it goes to your wall, your mirror. It sticks on there, and then the cloth comes down, and then it goes around. Oh, we have a couple people here. Hang on a sec. Shut up, Nicole. Nicole's saying I told him to shave his head too. Talking to you. And we have my man Joe on the air. So you know what? Since we are already having people coming on, we might as well start the show with an opening video. Tim, now that you started talking, you messed everything up. So now it is time for the opening of our podcast. What up, everybody? It is time for the Think Different podcast here to talk about all the Apple news in the world. That's right. We are former Apple Store employees here today with the chat live and open. We have Nicole. We have Joseph here. I don't know who that Nicole girl is. Not sure. I've never seen her before. I'm like, Tim, have you ever heard of someone of that name?
Yeah. No, I never heard of her.
Neither have I. I've never heard of her. Welcome to the Think Different podcast. We want to thank you all for joining us this is the third time we are on YouTube Live, going live for the podcast, and we are happy that everybody's been joining us. But remember, our main podcast episodes come out every Friday morning, so you could download and listen to this there, or come back here on YouTube and check us out. Ladies and gentlemen, to my left is Tim. Not only is he Tim, he's Vacation Tim. Vacation Tim, welcome to my show.
What's up? Yeah, glad to be here. Shout out to Joe. I'm glad you love your Quip toothbrush. I'm very excited to try it out. I could let you know how it works out for me. But I'm excited to be here.
He is excited to be here. So remember, you can check us out at Think Different Podcast on our Facebook and Instagram, and at Think Diff Pod on our Twitter. But before we get started with today's episode, we had a enlightenment this week. So we wanted to start up with some breaking news that we're going to be regarding the podcast going forward. So I thought I'm going to leave it open to Tim to basically explain what's going on. So Tim, take it away.
Yes. So iVacation Tim has decided to take a vacation from the podcast. So I will be leaving the podcast. I've decided that I'm kind of going to move on and move on to a couple of other passion projects I want to get to. And it does sadden me because I won't be able to see Will's beautiful face every week. And we get to talk about Apple products and the Apple world and how great these products are and the company itself is, and how fortunate myself and Will were both able to be included within that company for a portion of our careers. But I do have to kind of step away now and kind of move on to other small passion projects I want to pursue.
I will tell you, we have gotten to know each other so much better during this podcast than we were the so many years that we were actually at Apple. Because I was looking around trying to find people who I wanted to do this podcast with. You were one of the names I came up with, or I put it online and, you responded to doing it. And, we did, close to a year of it together. And then, this COVID kind of changed a lot of things as well. I don't have a lot of weddings to do anymore. So this has been kind of like a passion for me, only because my wedding videography is not really moving right now. I should have 2 weddings I should be editing on. If anything, I thought I'd be the one leaving first, only because of all the other things I do. And, it just sucks that, you're moving on. But my plan is for the podcast to potentially go forward. We're not sure yet. However, I do have one of our own that actually started here on the podcast with us. He joined us a couple episodes. Mr. Frank Funk is going to be back.
Yeah, Frank Funk.
And I don't know if we're going to be doing the YouTube or just doing the recording just to get our foot in the door together. But Frank Funk and I will be together. So shout out to Frank for stepping into Vacation Tim's place. In fact, I already have his new graphic and everything. I'm quickly ready to get rid of Tim's graphic off my screen. That also comes with some logo changes. And by the way, Nicole said, "Hey, thanks, babe," to me in the chat. So I'm just saying now, because she thinks that you're typing, but no, it's me. I'm the one in the chat room typing. I'm the one running the studio. So I better watch it. You better watch it, Tim.
Yeah. I better watch myself. But shout out to Nicole. She wants her to give me a shout out.
I already did.
So shout out to her. She's been my COVID buddy throughout the process. For those who don't know, Nicole is my girlfriend. We own a townhouse together, and we've had a lot of fun quarantining together.
Yes, we have definitely. Oh, I mean, you guys have definitely been quarantined together.
Nice swerve.
See, it says, "Will, say my name." That's what it says in the chat room. That's exactly what it says. But I got to tell you, you've grown, because remember, you didn't have a townhome before we got together, and now you do. You live together with your girlfriend. Moving to that next step. It's almost like that. I'm like your best friend, and I also helped you blossom into this beautiful flower that is in front of us, known as Vacation Tim.
Are you calling me beautiful?
Yeah, you are beautiful. You're a beautiful man. I'm actually also sucking up just in case you're trying to get married and maybe you want a videographer and you might want to suggest one person. So I am kind of sucking up to you as well.
I see what you're doing there.
But
there's always a motive behind it.
Oh, absolutely. After all, I am a bad guy after all. But I hope you guys also check out my WV Productions channel, because I put up a May the 4th be with you. Now, you're a big Star Wars guy.
Yeah, pretty big.
So I put up a quick 2.5 minute video of a fight as Movado Dragon, my wrestling character, against Kylo Jeff, which is his name, but it's Kylo Ren. And for some reason, a news source picked us up and actually liked it and posted it. So I don't know why. Fun. So if you go check out either my Facebook page at Will Vafidis, or you go check out WV Productions, you can see my Jedi video up there. And for whatever reason, that made something. So God bless me. I'm doing good.
Yeah. No, it was a funny video. I'm sure it was really fun to shoot too. I would love to play with lightsabers.
Yeah, he always loves playing with lightsabers, everybody. Uh, just before we start today's episode, I wanted to tell you something that happened as I kind of previewed to the episode. So in my neighborhood and around the back of my woods, 2 bikes were stolen in my neighborhood, and someone put a video on our Facebook group saying that someone stole us from their backyard. And then, so this is all happening yesterday, everybody. So this is the beginning of the day. We then found out another bike was stolen at 60 Acres, which is another like neighborhood that's behind the woods far away where it's not around the corner, but it's there. So a neighbor of mine took a picture of a bike and said, "Hey, is this the bike that's stolen?" Yes, it was my neighbor. It was at my neighbor's house. So the bike was sitting there at one point.
Bikes?
So he didn't want to take it or do anything with it because he wasn't sure. But he did take a picture of it, which was smart, because we were able to now find out that there's a bike in our neighborhood stolen, a bike in another neighborhood stolen, that bike in the other neighborhoods in our development. And we're looking through all of our cameras. Everyone's got this Ring camera. And they're trying to find out who took it. It turns out we call the cops. We were going to... behind our house with the dog, we were walking up and we saw the bike that was stolen in our neighborhood over at the same house. And we were like, and I was like, wait a minute, that looks like the kid that stole the backyard. We have a video of it. Like it's hard to tell. It's the back of his head, but it was him. And and so the bottom line is now we figured out that was a kid that stole it. We called the cops again. The mother of that house and the son who was hanging out with the 2 kids that stole it was about to leave. So it was very obvious that they were trying to get away. I got in front of the kid of the car. I said, "You're not going anywhere. There's a woman here looking for her bike. Talk to her." He's like, "Oh, I don't know this. I only know the one guy. I don't know the other one." So he doesn't know who they are.
Way.
Yeah, so he doesn't know who they are. It's like bull. You know who the kids are. We see them over there too because we're right next door. We see them over there. And at the end of the day, 2 cars all of a sudden come back about an hour later. We go in the backyard and we're just looking around. We found the bike. It was thrown in the woods. They ditched it. So we found the other bike that was missing. One kid was chasing the other bike that stole it, so he dropped the bike and ran. And both kids came over back to the house and the cop was talking to him. And you know how old these kids are? 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, probably just punks.
They're little punks. My neighborhood, I'm gonna call it right now. 39 Rene Court are pieces of trash. Okay, they have had 2 cats killed when they leave them outside. They leave their cats outside because they want to. They had 2 of them killed with no remorse to doing that. They have let their dogs off leashes, which one of their dogs attacks my dog, like attacks him.
Whoa.
And my dog doesn't understand what's going on. He's blind in one eye. He has 2 ACL tears, and the nerve that they just let these dogs up the leash, they let them poop and they don't pick it up. And then a more recent incident that happened, the dog got loose out of the woman's hand. She couldn't hold it because she was in a neck brace. She has neck problems, but she should be walking the dog to begin with. And then they loses the dog, and then it goes after my dog again.
Jeez.
This is the kind of trash I live next to. And I can't do a damn thing about it because the HOA is friends with them and they won't do a thing. It's a bunch of BS. Oh, yeah. I hate it. My neighbors are the biggest scum on the earth. So 39 Rene Court, Jackson, New Jersey. I'm going to call them out. I do not care. They are the biggest scum on this earth. They do drugs. I think the older woman who is apparently already dating someone that doesn't live there, she's like messing around with that's one of those 17-year-old kids. That's like the rumor going around. It's like ridiculous. What? Yeah. It's ridiculous. That's how much rumors are going around there, and so much shady activity happens in that house. The daughter is yelling at us all the time about her dog. Like, my dog don't attack anybody. Well, your dog is going up to my dog very fast and not licking him, not sniffing him. Like, want to play with him. Even if he's trying to play with him, my dog don't understand. And it's a bulldog too. Yeah. So unfortunately, they have the rap. Okay. So my point is that neighborhood is a piece of crap, but it was yesterday was like the most fun day out of this whole COVID thing with everything going on, with all these people coming near our home, hanging out. It was crazy.
You solved a mystery.
Yeah, I'm a mystery solver, everybody. So that was my
That's funny.
story. Yeah, it's a crazy story.
Yeah, it is.
So that was my story starting off with. Vacation Tim, what do you got?
How do I follow up that?
Well, you're still missing. Now, by the way, we are still looking around for the missing Texans helmet. So if you right here are on this stream and you have stolen this man's Texas helmet, you better bring that back.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten it. USPS is keeping it hostage. If you tuned into last week's episode, it was supposed to come last Thursday. It still hasn't came yet. I'm not sure what's going on. Again, it may just be COVID's problem, but also I just want my helmet. I only want it for the sheer fact that I can go out in public and wear my helmet.
What?
And just be funny.
Okay, well, you'd be the only moron going to the food market with a Texans helmet on, all right? So, but you still have to wear a face mask because it doesn't cover the front. So you're not out of the woods yet. You still have to wear a damn face mask, damn it.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm going to wear a face mask.
Okay. All right, well, that was our opening. Quite a long opening. And you know what's the best part about this opening? I'm going to have to redo it in post because I forgot to start the record when we first started going. At least on the podcast part. So, there we go. So, welcome to the Think Different podcast where everything is messing up every week. I am not prepared. All right, everybody. So, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into the two news stories we're going to go into today. Tim's got it prepared today because I told him to. He's ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, and don't talk yet. We have to put the video on. It is time for breaking news. It's your part. You're supposed to say news.
News.
No, let's start that over. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news.
The news.
All right, Tim, go ahead. Get started.
All right, so Apple announces fiscal Q2 2020 earnings with a revenues of $58.3 billion amid the COVID-19 concerns. So yes, the results are in. Is it what Apple expected? It most certainly isn't. They made that announcement back in February that they were most likely not going to hit their projected earning revenues of between $63 billion and $67 billion. So they did fall short of that. These numbers of the revenue and the profits compares exactly to Q2 from 2019. So there really is no wiggle room inside of there. You know, maybe a couple million back and forth. But it's almost identical to the same numbers that they achieved in Q2 of 2019. What led the way, which typically will always lead the way, is earnings by product of the iPhone with $28.96 billion. Services had the best quarter yet.
Yep.
So that's coming in at $13.35 billion, which kind of makes sense, if you're utilizing and pushing a lot of different services. That does include Apple TV Plus. It includes Apple Care. It includes all the Apple support. Anything that kind of falls into services, any subscriptions, Apple Arcade, all of that falls into services. So they kicked butt this last quarter. And then it led with the wearables, the home, and the accessories at $6.28 billion. And then we had the Mac at $5.35 billion. And then the iPad at $4.37 billion.
Mm-hmm. And of course, services is that's always going to go up. I do not see that ever going down. If it's going down, that means either people are not caring about backup or not caring about either Apple Arcade, which I think a lot of people don't care about that much. I think Apple TV, if anybody's paying for that, God bless you. I don't know why you are. And then, it's just, I'm not surprised the services won't. But honestly, the point is they still made money.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, $58.3 billion, but a profit of $11.25, $11 billion they made in one quarter. That's crazy.
I really wish I could know the subscription numbers of Apple Arcade, before the pandemic and, during the pandemic, just because, these kids are going to be at home, they kind of need to occupy themselves at a longer. The parents need to occupy their kids at longer durations of time now. So you would think that Apple Arcade subscriptions would go up. Saves their parents money. And obviously saves the kid money and time and stuff like that. Where they can utilize educational apps that are in Apple Arcade, and obviously all the fun applications like Hot Lava.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't miss the game as much as I thought I would. I love the game when I had it, but I'm not like I need it, And there's not really a
Yeah.
game that I have ever seen that's taken off as like the game for Apple Arcade. But I think that the value is definitely there. I mean, absolutely. I mean, why would you buy
Precisely.
if there's a game on there that don't require you to pay more than $4, $5 a month? I mean, I would totally get it. Not to mention you can family share that with everybody.
Yeah, and there's no in-app purchases.
No.
You have all access to the entire application for that $4.99 price.
It's amazing to me that wearables, home, and accessories make more money than the Mac. That's pretty crazy to me that they do make more.
Yeah, yeah, but you also got to think about it. People are holding on their Mac for a lot longer, typically. When you're purchasing, so that's more of a long-term investment. Where a lot of the wearables, all the home accessories, they're kind of a dime a dozen, and obviously a lot more affordable than what a Mac is as well. So there's those kind of factors.
Do you think that the HomePod needs to be discounted more as it is? I mean, looking at this, I mean, you don't have a HomePod, right?
I don't. I have also no speakers.
Also no speakers, right? So right now, like they discounted, like
Yeah.
that was a big thing going on right now. I think it's like $249 for the HomePod. Best Buy selling it for $199. Do you think that's still worth it?
At
$199.
199, that's a pretty good price.
Yeah. I mean, for the quality of the speaker is a big thing. I mean, because right now, $199 is about how much you pay for a good Sonos,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think
and it's
Sonos
got the
is
Siri
185
benefit.
for
And it's
the.
got the Siri benefit in it. And a fun fact: do you have an Apple TV?
I have three Apple TVs. Yeah.
Yeah. So some people may not know this. If you don't have an Apple TV in your home or an iPad in your home, if you have a HomePod, that can act as your home hub. You need to have something in your home that allows home automation to work, and the HomePod is an item that counts towards that. So if you want to be able to unlock your door remotely and you want to be able to access things in your home remotely, you need to have at least an Apple TV or a HomePod in your home, and that actually will allow you to unlock the door. So I don't know if a lot of people know about that little tidbit.
Yeah, I didn't know about that actually.
Yeah, so in order for home automation to work out of the home, you have to have something that stays in the home. And the Apple TV has to be on, obviously, or the HomePod is like the device that can receive that command and allow that access to occur. So I don't know if a lot of people knew
Gotcha.
that, but now you know something new, everybody. The more you know.
Uh, and just to briefly talk about it, Apple stock is going up.
Yes.
Past couple days.
Yes, sir.
So it's looking,
So all you
looking
selling
brighter.
your stocks, you were morons. Like you knew it was going to go back up, especially that they're still making money. Like the day it should go down is when they don't make money.
Right. That's gonna be a long time from now, if it ever happens.
All right, and then that was our first subject to talk about the quarter, which everyone talked about. But the numbers are still good. I don't care. The numbers are still good. Is it projections of what they wanted? No, no one's making projections for the next year. I don't know if you know that, but no one's making projections. The only one that's gonna is DoorDash or anything that has to do with that. Like they're gonna make.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, all healthcare industries are losing money as well. Yeah, it's just all across the
And they're the
board.
most active. You would think that they would be making the most money. Or insurance companies are probably
they're
making
not.
so much money right now. Insurance companies are
Yeah.
losing a lot of money right now because they have to shell out all money for all these people having health problems. I mean, man, it's a lot of
Yeah.
money. I'm trying to think of a business that's actually benefiting from this. Actually, I would probably say Zoom. Well, yeah, Zoom has got that.
Yeah, all these video conferencing.
It's not like Zoom, but for the foreseeable future, this is going to change the world. So I had a meeting. We had a big meeting earlier this week regarding what we're doing going forward. I can tell you right now, I'm going to be in this house, I think at least 2 more months, at least.
Wow.
Because the other thing is, when you have offices next to each other, You can't. Who's going to want to sit next to each other anymore? You can't.
Yeah.
You know, there's no reason to sit next to somebody else anymore. So cubicles are going to be completely changed. They're going to be completely done. Now you're going to have to get tested before you even go into the building, which, by the way, if you're sick, you should be home. I don't care what it is. I know you want to save days to use at the end of the year so you can just take off for the hell of it. No. Like, the sick days are there for a reason. In fact, now I think companies are going to give more sick days now just because of this.
Yeah, that's probably right.
So are you giving sick days, Tim?
Yes, yeah.
You get 2 weeks like everybody else?
2 weeks.
Yep. And now they're
taking any.
And then anybody that's sick now gets a free 2 weeks of vacation, really, because they need it. They're not going to count it against them. You know, so if you have COVID, you're going to get 2 weeks paid vacation regardless.
That's right.
You know, for being off, and you still have your sick time. So that's
if anyone's listened to our podcast before, I never used a sick day at Apple when I worked there. So I had 277 sick days accumulated that I never used.
What? It's impossible. You didn't work there. There's no way. Hours or
277 hours.
Oh my God! He said days.
But I never.
Nicole, this is your boyfriend, by the way. I was about to say. I was like, Nicole, that's your boyfriend, by the way. Mentioning 276 days of vacation time.
I wish I could have cashed them out. I mean, my store leader made a joke with me because he looked at my profile. He's like, "You've never taken a sick day, have you?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Wow, that's crazy."
It's funny that he's encouraging it.
You can cash that out.
Now, I did the smart thing. My nephew was born, so I took a day for that by default, and I left 1 day on vacation. Not 1 day. I'm sorry, 1 day on sick time. I apologize. That was it. I didn't use the rest of it. I didn't need to. I'm not going to be that guy. I wanted to be there the last day. We had a great time going out the last day. So, but I think that as far as the world's going to change, I think I'm only going to be going into the office once a month. Because they're not going to want to have they're not going to want to have 3 people in the team there if one goes down, and on top of it, you don't need 3 people there anymore. Now that you have Zoom and you can fix issues across Zoom, there's no reason to.
Yep. Yeah, like remoting in and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the future, guys. Zoom is the future, or another company, or if Apple's smart, they'll develop their iOS 14 to do something big with FaceTime, because everybody in the business basically has an iPhone here.
Yeah, it's true. They gotta fix that FaceTime dumping window thing.
Yeah, and they have already announced that a release of of a beta is going to come out that will be addressing that. So before even iOS 14 comes out, it is known that they're going to fix the FaceTime moving windows. That's not working out, and they're going to make it more. But they should make it more business oriented, like how Zoom is. Maybe not share screen, but at least camera to camera. It'd be much easier and much more secure, because obviously the biggest problem with Zoom is the security aspect of it.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into the next thing. So Tim, we're going to talk about the next thing that is going on in the world that happened last week that we were surprised of. So why don't we talk about that next?
I like it.
Or are you going to say nothing? That's fine. You can say absolutely nothing.
Like a graphic or anything.
I already did it. I did it behind. I know you can't see it, but I am prepared for this. Damn it. Go.
New 13-inch MacBook Pro announced with Magic Keyboard, 10th generation processors, up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, and up to 4 terabyte of SSD, and more. Apple announced last week the new 13-inch MacBook Pro model with a more reliable Magic Keyboard, faster 10th generation Intel processor options, which makes it up to 80% faster graphics performance. You can upgrade up to 32 gigs of RAM and up to 4 terabytes of storage. So they got rid of that awful butterfly keyboard that had so many issues. Finally, it's gone after 5 years and has transitioned into this new scissor mechanism keyboard, which has gotten a lot of great reviews. They have updated the 10th generation processor in the higher end models. So the 13-inch model starting at $1799, and then all the 16-inch models are automatically equipped with the 10th generation Intel Core processor. And then standard now for the 16-inch models are the 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty
Yay!
awesome. And then standard across the entire board, every computer starts off with 256 gigabytes of storage, which is pretty cool. And then what else was updated?
They
I think that
also
was it.
include. Well, the other big thing was they included the microphone and the speakers as well. So that's another thing that they also included was they added those awesome podcast-like quality microphones coming from there. That's another thing I'd be very curious for the next time I get a computer upgrade because I'm getting there. I'd be curious to record off the microphone, off the device, and see how it acts. I'm very curious
Yeah,
how that'll
true.
work. You know, it might save the hassle of hooking up another a USB device. But I have heard reviews of that microphone. People sound pretty good on it.
That's cool.
So,
What
like
are,
I,
what are you most disappointed by?
you already know what that is. That stupid camera, man. But I
The
don't.
fellow.
But I wasn't. But I wasn't expecting them to put a better camera on this one and not on the other two. That made absolutely no sense. Once that, because the 16 MacBook Pro is the flagship product. I always think that's where they put all the new stuff in, and then
Sure.
they filter it out across the board. So, but I think the price point, the things that I like about this is the 256 storage, which again is a standard now everywhere. I do like the uh, the 8 gigs of memory as well. I think that's a good start. Now, some of the downsides, little things, is the processor is a little different compared to the higher end model from the previous generation. But when I was like
Yep. Yeah.
comparing when I was comparing the price point of the processor, the memory, and everything compared to last year's model, it's like a $500 difference. You
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah. That's
it's
crazy.
yeah, that is absolutely crazy. So I think that's a very good value now that they're giving. As far as like what you're getting for the price point, I think it's very fair.
Now, what'd you say the price was when you max it out?
So okay, so let's take the highest possible end 13-inch Mac. I'm going to go that right now. So we are going to put the 2.3 quad core 10th generation processor i7, 32 gigs of LP DDR4 times memory, 4 terabytes of storage. Ugh. It's $3,600.
Wow.
$3,600.
With the 16-inch model, you can upgrade your storage up to 8 terabytes.
Oof. That's
That is insane.
yeah, that is really insane. I would hope no one would need that. Honestly, yeah, that's crazy. That is absolutely nuts.
That's a lot.
Now, if you stick with the standard like $2,000 model, the 2.0 quad core 10 gen, and you just stick with the memory, you stick with the storage, it's $2,000. So again, it's not bad. Definitely cheap. There's definitely a big price difference now between the 16 and the 13. Like the opening models, big difference
For sure.
in
Yeah.
price. But which is one thing I
'Cause
like.
what-
Is one thing I like because then it stops people from buying a 15-inch or a 16-inch MacBook Pro. Because one thing I hated was when people flashed around their money when they said, "Oh, my kid wants the bigger screen." I'm like, but the resolution,
Yeah, exactly.
the resolution of these displays is up to 1080p. You know, there's no
Yeah.
reason for it. There's so much because remember the retina look on the screen is not the highest resolution. You can knock that everything smaller, and you can see, and you have more room back in the space.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't think that you need the big display here. And now that there's like a humongous difference in price, I think that'll stop that from happening. So it makes the Apple Store employees a little bit easier to deal with, like knowing the differences between them, between $2,400 and $1,299, and you do get $100
Now-
discount for education.
That's correct. Yeah. I was reading some of the disappointments that people were having. Apparently, people were upset because the 13-inch model didn't become a 14-inch model.
Yes.
I'm not sure why that inch matters.
They just want less bezels on the screen. That's all they want. It would have been the same screen with less bezels. That's all it would have been, folks.
And then it wasn't updated to Wi-Fi 6.0.
Yep.
And then I think that was the main two concerns. Obviously, the 720p camera as well.
I swear to God, if they do not address that by the next big Mac refresh, like there's something wrong with them. Then they obviously don't care about the camera. They obviously, and to think that we think Face ID is eventually going in these devices, it doesn't seem like it.
So, from a technician standpoint, is there either a design challenge with those 720p cameras installed in that display, or is it it just doesn't fit? Like if they want to put a better camera in there, it just wouldn't fit in the clamshell as nice as the 720p camera is. Like, can you kind of talk about that? Like, why would there be a reason why they can't include a better camera?
I think they would have to change the overall design of this display. You got to remember, these displays have really not changed for many, many years. They have used the same technology in it. The Retina screen's been around since 2013, let's go with. And that's 2012 probably. And they really haven't changed the fundamentals of the display. It's still the same bezel amount, still the same kind of camera in it. The microphone's been living in it. I don't know what it is that Apple's doing, but they just don't want to change the camera because then they got to change the overall design of this display. And I also think that increased the costs of the entire display as well. Remember, these 13 inches cost $475 to fix.
Yep,
that's a lot. And you would think with the new designed MacBook Pros that we came out back in 2016 that they were going to maybe include a 1080p because they did change the display. It is made differently, but they didn't. And I don't understand why. And again, it's why on our podcast here on YouTube, why our images are so small, because if I blew them up, they just don't look that good. We'd have to buy webcams.
Yeah, it'd be all pixelated. Yeah.
Well, it just would look good. Whoa, hello, excuse me.
But
that's at least the reason why.
Available to order. Yeah, definitely. But the MacBook Pro is available to order starting last week. So you can order from apple.com. It'll ship directly to your location. Currently, there is no Apple Store pickup availability until the store is open, but they're now currently still closed. The 13-inch MacBook Pro starts at $1,300, and the 16-inch MacBook Pro starts at $2,400. Any other final words on this MacBook, Will?
No, I solid upgrade. I think it's for the season that we're going into for colleges. Good lineup. I think this is the lineup. Unless they're going to improve the processor internally, that's the only thing I could see them doing. But I think it's a solid lineup, and I think the prices are very fair. But I think the MacBook Air is going to overall be the winner here. I can't see a reason why no one would want to get the MacBook Air over any other model at this point.
Yeah,
and the deal with the damn touch bar.
Yeah, exactly. Because the touch bar is standard across all models now.
All the MacBook Pros.
So you can't get away from it.
Nope.
And it's interesting to bring that up, Will. The educational program or promotion that happens every summer, kind of back to school time. Mm-hmm. How is that going to look different? This is going to be crazy.
I don't think it will because they do it online anyway. So I don't think it makes a difference.
True.
I really don't.
Sales-wise, you wouldn't think it would make a difference?
No. As long as Apple puts it right on their main page, which they typically do when it comes to the education discounts, and you get a free pair of Beats. I see it being going just fine. The keynote is coming up. I think June 22nd. We have the official announcement date now.
June 22nd.
June 22nd is the official announcement date of the developers conference, and a lot of times, I don't know if they're going to develop any new products this year. Maybe a new Apple TV. Maybe those over-the-ear headbuds that they were talking about, the Apple Buds. Maybe the AirTags. But I don't see anything really big this time around. I think it's going to be focusing all on software. And hopefully they got some big things to blow us away, especially now that we're in this COVID environment and we're going to be like this for a while. We need some features that are going to really help us out during this crisis for the next year. to really help, to really do something big. And I'm hoping. What are some things that you're hoping for that, because you won't be on this podcast anymore, but what are the things you're hoping for software wise that's going to be happening on iPhone, iPad, anything you think that would be major that would just make you love the product even more?
Yeah, it's. I would love the idea to do a split screen on my iPhone. There is the kind of emphasis that Apple's moving to obviously bigger screens. It's this day and age that everyone just has these bigger screens in their pockets and everything. I would love to be able to do a split screen or kind of just do like a multitask feature on my iPhone instead of switching back and forth between the dock pages in the iPhone already with the on the screen home button toggle that you can do on the bottom of the iPhone 10. I would love like kind of like a multitask feature, kind of how the iPad OS is set up. So that'd be a great feature. I've always been kind of begging for this. I would love the ability to mark as read and mark as unread in messages. I think there's so much that they're missing out in the messages tab that are just like basic functionality things. You know how you can schedule a message to send at a certain time, which you can do now technically with shortcuts.
Yes.
But I would love to mark a message as, if I read that text message and I want to answer later, I want to mark it as unread, so I had that notification available for me to check that message later on. I would just love that kind of feature. So there's definitely like little tweaks that they could do that I would find very useful in it. But multitasking, because I'm on my phone, all day, every day, and I just want to be able to manage different things back and forth easily on my iPhone. I can use my iPad, I definitely can, but it's just not as accessible as my iPhone would be. So yeah, that's what I would like to see.
You bring up a good point, messages, because one of the things I hate, I would love to delete a message. I think that'd be kind of, or at least re-edit a message.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Re-edit a message, yeah.
Or even delete it if you accidentally sent it to the wrong person. The rumor is they're going to have tags, so you can like say @Tim, so that way you're included in the conversation, even though you're not technically in the conversation. So it's almost like tagging somebody inside of messages.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So
like
that
Slack.
Yeah, so it's like if I'm talking to somebody, I just want to tag you real quick. Hey, maybe this guy would be good to talk to, or so it kind of like tags you in the convo. Enough of the emojis and the stickers. I swear to God, please do not keep bringing up these damn emojis and stickers. It's just enough already. It's annoying. But you know what it is? It's like they spent so much time on it. That's what pisses me off about it.
Yeah, they did, and yeah.
And one feature I really want this, that when you get a phone call, it doesn't take up the entire screen.
Ooh, yeah. See, then that's what I'm talking about, like multitasking. Like, how can you? And again,
that's a notification feature.
Sure, yeah. So that right.
And you could turn on certain times throughout the day where you wanted to maybe do that and not do that, so you have a little more control. That's what I would really like. I would really like that. I hate that it takes up the whole screen. You got to end the call and try to finish what you're doing. It's little things like that. Just have a notification pop up on the top of the phone.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, there's the idea of like, do you want widgets on your iPhone as well? Like, how like an Android device is set up.
I slide over. That's good enough for me. The widgets are good for me when you slide over to the left. I would love to get to those widgets though a little faster than. You have to be back to the first screen and slide over. That's the only thing, is that you have to be back to the first screen. But what if you're like on the fourth screen, you want to see your widgets? You have to swipe up to go back to the back and then swipe over again. I just want a little bit quicker way of getting there. Maybe like a small slide, or I don't know, something, or an icon that takes you there. I don't know, something like that. So yeah. Those are the kind of things I'm looking forward to. But honestly, they do pretty good every year. This year was a little bit of a bust. iOS 13 was a very buggy iOS when it first came out, and hopefully they're going to improve it this time around with iOS 14. And of course, we have the new Mac OS, which I'm still not on that damn Catalina. I will not go on that Catalina.
Yeah, I'm not on it either.
Still not on that. So I can't believe this is
what was
probably
the one before that. High Sierra?
Well, Mojave.
Oh, Mojave.
I'm on Mojave now, And Catalina, I'm not there, and I'm wondering what the next Mac OS is going to come out with that might force me to upgrade. So we'll see. But they need something pretty big, because Catalina did not have anything for me that I needed. In fact, if anything, it was going to cause more of a heartache than anything else. So, well, we have come to the end of our podcast episode today. Tim, any final words of encouragement or anything you want to say to your 5 fans out there?
Yeah, I mean, this was fun. Will and I started this from the ground up. We almost got into a year of doing it, and it's pretty cool to see something grow from something so small that we didn't even know what we were doing in the beginning to where we were doing segments, doing different programs. Again, like Will mentioned, we got to know each other a lot more than we ever would have through this podcast. So if anything, I gained another friend out of this podcast. So that's kind of the biggest values that I found out of it. So I do encourage you, anyone that does want to kind of step into this realm. I know there's like a idea that like, oh, everybody has a podcast these days, but it really does take the people that go out there and try it and just do it. You know, you're not going to be a hit overnight. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have 1 million listeners within a week. As long as you're having fun doing it and just doing it with people you enjoy doing it with, and, you know, just expressing different passions that you have. That's all that matters. Just do it for yourself. Do it for what you want to represent and everything like that. It doesn't really matter about the popularity of it or the money that goes around it. Just do it all for fun. So that's my encouragement to anybody that either is listening to this podcast or has any hesitation about making a podcast of their own. All you got to do is just step out there and do it.
Yeah, and you know, the beginning was fun because we felt like we were doing great audio quality compared to some other podcasts, and we were, YouTube was kind of like a last minute really thing to do. We were fine with doing just a podcast the way we were. We just wanted to get another platform out there. Not to mention, our most viewed item that we have as far as anything we've put out so far is the YouTube episode, the Apple Maps and Waze. And if you look up Apple Maps versus Waze, or you look up both of them together in one search, we pop up as the number one thing. And that's something to be pretty cool that we made something that people really seem to like, because it wouldn't have got that many views if that was not good. So hopefully next week, we may not be on the YouTube side, but we will try to continue doing the podcasting side, talk a little more with Frank Funk, who was on a couple episodes. And you know what's great? I look back at, all of our episodes. People are still downloading old episodes. People like the old stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We may not, it doesn't get old because we did talk about a lot of subjects that are related to the store. I mean, our number one episode right now is the Apple battery episode, believe it or not.
What an episode.
That was. It's that and the Genius Bar Journey, because I think those were really good. The Genius Bar Journey was one of my favorites, but the Apple battery is definitely a fave. And then having Chris on, which, by the way, congratulations, he had his baby. He was
welcome, Lorelai, right?
So Chris Villamil now has a baby in this world. He was hoping it was going to be born on May the 4th be with you, but nope, it was born on Revenge of the 5th. So
good for him.
Good for him. Well, Tim, it's been a pleasure having you on the episode. I'm glad I had another friend here. If it wasn't for this podcast, you wouldn't have came to my house and hung out with us, you and Nicole. And I'm hoping that when this COVID was over, we're going to try to get together a little more, which would have been, hopefully we'll get to do that at some point. I won't be going golfing with you. I'm sorry. That's just not my passion. But
that's all right. It's all right.
Hopefully we'll eventually down the line at least hang out. But I think it's the right way to go is that Saturday is my birthday. I think the only fair thing for you to do as your final words is just wish me happy birthday. In fact, you're going to sing the whole song. So right now, this is it. This is your ending moment. If there's one thing you're going to do for me.
Italian?
Yes. Could you?
Feliz compleanno a te. Feliz compleanno a te. Feliz compleanno a Will. Feliz compleanno a te.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a round of applause for Tim Santoro. A standing ovation. All right, stop the ovation. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on the Think Different podcast. You hear that sound? There it is. Yeah, that is our episode. All right, everybody, we want to thank you very much for joining us for the Think Different podcast. We want to thank Tim for putting on 42 amazing episodes of the Think Different podcast. And hopefully next Friday, we will be back there. And thank you very much for the birthday shout, Nicole. I appreciate it. You are not the man because you are a woman. All right, everybody, thank you very much for this version of the Think Different podcast. And Tim, say it.
Peace out.